All right, this is going to be your comprehensive guide of how to buy new construction housing in the Tampa area. We're not gonna go into specific builders all the way, but the process, kind of narrowing in on different factors. We're gonna go through everything right now. I'm Sam, and of course this is the Living in Tampa channel. We've been making these videos for a few years, and I wanted to make this more comprehensive guide for you to know what it's like to buy new construction in this area. We've got a lot of new construction going on right now. It wasn't just the pandemic, but it's still happening. And also, if you click the link in the description, we created a new construction guide for you, so you can actually have a downloadable, printable PDF with a lot of this information in it and so much more. But also, we'd love to hop on a call and process your situation and see how we can best fit in it. Okay, so I wanna start with why you would even wanna buy new. This is a question that a lot of us ask ourselves. Why buy new at all? Maybe you already know you want to, and that's kind of the first reason. Why buy new is you want to. You want a new house, you want a place that no one's ever lived in. You kind of like that feel, you like the kind of new, modern neighborhood, those kind of things. And the list of why you might want to do it can go on and on. Maybe you just have always wanted to customize your house. You want to pick the stuff, the finishes and the layout and those kind of things. And like I said, maybe you just want kind of modern features and modern design without having to update an older house to feel like that and look like that. You just want a modern house. Now, when I say modern, I'm not talking about like square and flat roof. Those are cool too. We have a few builders down here that do those. But I'm talking more like the open layout, the primary bedroom in a certain spot, the ensuite bathrooms in some of the other bedrooms, the big office, the whatever it is, those kind of things that are common now in newer houses that weren't common in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. A lot of our clients, when they're asking about new construction, they're thinking about lower maintenance costs, which is a big factor. Yeah, you're not gonna have to replace the air conditioning, the roof. You're not gonna have to repaint things. You're not gonna have to upgrade the kitchen. You're not gonna have to plan out these next few projects. You got a good 10 years before anything feels outdated at all. Not just those kind of things, but your windows are efficient, so it costs less to run your air. Like all those kind of things are factors. Your insurance is cheaper because of all the modern roof attachments. All those are big factors, and those could be reasons why you wanna buy new. And then one of the last reasons is amenities. So in all ranges, whether you're a young family or a young professional or you're a retiree, the amenities are pretty attractive in these neighborhoods. I'm in a big lake park in the middle of Starkey Ranch right now. There's 2 lakes. You can fish and kayak and stuff like that. And this is a really nice neighborhood because of its amenities. But it's not just the parks. We'll get into some of the other kind of build out that a community does to make it attractive with schools and library and those kind of things that make it really unique. But the amenities are often a reason why new construction is really attractive to some people. Next, I want to talk about the areas that are currently building right now. I'm going to lump these together a little bit. So first we'll talk about Wesley Chapel. Wesley Chapel, northeast side of the Tampa area, is in Pasco County. So a lot of them seem really similar to Wesley Chapel. Around them, Zephyr Hills, San Antonio, New Tampa, and then over into Lutz, Land O'Lakes, or even over here into Odessa where I am right now. And then even over into Newport Richey. So Starkey Ranch is right here on the border of Odessa and Newport Richey. There's a neighborhood just on the other side of Starkey Road where they're doing another phase of that neighborhood, and it's a really cool neighborhood actually. But this whole area, the Pasco County suburbs, are pretty similar to each other. Most of the building is concentrated in Wesley Chapel right now, with a couple big neighborhoods going in Land O'Lakes as well. Okay, the second area that's really actively building is southeast of Tampa. Now, we've talked about these rings before. The rings are just growing. So over by Riverview, and I'm using Riverview as kind of the anchor because it's the biggest town over there, other than Brandon, but Brandon's a bit further north. So when we look at Riverview, out to the east we have Fishhawk, which got built a few years ago. I mean, really 20 years ago. Then you go south of there into Parrish, into Waimama, into Ruskin. Those areas are growing super, super fast, especially Parrish. Big master plan communities going in Parrish, like North River Ranch, which is kind of like a mini Lakewood Ranch is what they call it. So If you've seen Lakewood Ranch in Sarasota, it's kind of a mini version of that with really cool amenities. And then another big one, Sea Air, which is Metro Places that builds the big lagoon neighborhoods, is building Sea Air. And the lagoon is actually under construction down there right now. So those are the big kind of centers of new construction. Wesley Chapel, and then Riverview, south of Riverview Parish area. There is new construction in other places, like Innisbrook Golf Course in Palm Harbor. They had 3 courses. They tore out one of them, and Toll Brothers is building a neighborhood in there, which is like 400 units, a lot of townhouses, and then some really nice houses too. That one, they're just now starting to build the model home, but that's gonna be a really cool neighborhood right in the middle of Palm Harbor. Golf course views, close to the water, no flood zone, really, really cool opportunities there. Okay, next I wanna hit on a couple kind of key points with how you understand new construction. We're gonna go with 3 different categories here. Number 1 is spec homes, number 2 is semi-custom homes, and number 3 is fully custom homes. So spec homes, these kind of come in a few different categories. Sometimes they just build them to spec and hey, here's the house you can buy if you wanna buy it. It's in our inventory. They call them inventory homes sometimes if they build them and have them ready to sell. Okay, interesting fact, those ones often have the best incentives because they need to sell them pretty fast. So they're often willing to buy your rate down quite a bit, offer all kinds of discounts, things like that, with inventory homes that are already done. So there's all different levels of builders, but even like a higher end production builder like Taylor Morrison or Homes by West Bay, they still build spec homes where you can come in at the last second and pick a couple things. Once the drywall goes in, they've got stuff in stock at their design center. You can pick out your tile and customize your bathroom a little bit. And if you're early enough in the process, you can customize more. And that's kind of where it becomes semi-custom. If you're customizing where the island goes, where power is, if there's an outdoor kitchen, those kind of things fall in a few different categories. You know, you could be a local builder like Canopy Homes, which builds in St. Petersburg. They're semi-custom, where they design the product and then you can just tweak it a little bit. A lot of builders offer that. Those are still kind of spec homes though. They're not that different, but they're a little bit more customized to you, at least with the finishing touches. To build a custom home is a little different. Now, some builders, they buy lots and then sell the plans for a specific custom home and then you can tweak it all you want. In other scenarios, clients of ours have bought lots and then we hire a builder to help them design and build their house. Those are all different levels. And all those things can be done at all different price levels too. Okay, now let's talk about how to think about budgeting for a new construction house. Couple things to think about. So here in this part of Starkey Ranch, most of this was built by Taylor Morrison or Homes by West Bay. Both of those builders charge lot premiums. What is a lot premium? On the builder's marketing and website and on their printouts and in the model home, everything you see prices. The lot premium would be on top of that price. So it does add quite a bit more. And some of these Taylor Morrison lot premiums now are up to $120,000. Now, you can find them for a lot more reasonable than that, and it kind of depends how the neighborhood's being built, whether or not there's lot premiums. These big master plan developments where there's multiple builders, they don't always have the same kind of lot premiums. So when we're talking about lot premium, we're talking about the base price versus the total price. Other things to think about with your total price are upgrades. Upgrades can add up pretty quickly depending on how far you want to go. Some of our clients are like, hey, this is going to be our last house. This is our forever house. We're going to go all the way. It can add up to hundreds of thousands pretty easily, but it doesn't have to be that much. Another factor that's going to contribute to your total cost is sometimes they have HOA buy-ins. In some of these master plan communities specifically, you have to buy into the HOA, and it's a few $1,000s, but all of that adds up to your cash out of pocket. Okay, another thing to think about with budgeting is incentives. Incentives come in all shapes and sizes. So for incentives, we're gonna talk about short-term incentives and long-term incentives. So short-term incentives are something that doesn't last very long. You know, a lot of incentives can affect your cash out of pocket. That's like kind of an immediate impact, not so much a long-term impact. So we're gonna put that in short-term. But then also in short-term, I'm gonna put something like a rate buy down. Maybe they're offering to buy your rate down for a period of time. So that would be like a 3-2-1 buy down where they buy it down 3% the first year, 2% the next year, 1% the third year, and then it goes to your normal rate. Now, sometimes even that rate, the final rate is bought down for the life of the loan, but not always. When it comes to long-term, there are also rate buy downs. You can use your incentive cash to buy the rate down for the life of the loan. That is typically what our clients do. Another long-term incentive is actually just a price reduction. You could use these incentives, this flex cash or whatever they call it, And typically you get this kind of extra cash when you go with the builder's lender. Then you can use that to buy down the price. Say you're paying cash, say you're not borrowing much money. If you're paying cash, you're not thinking about their lender anyway. But we can often get them to reduce the price even if we're just paying cash based on the marketed incentives that they have. Okay, and the last thing to consider with budgeting is fixed costs. Oftentimes with new construction, your fixed costs are higher in a couple ways. As I said previously, sometimes your variable costs, like your utilities, are actually a bit more affordable because the house is newer and more efficient. Your maintenance costs also would be a variable cost, but your fixed costs would be like your property taxes and your HOA. So let's just use this neighborhood as an example. This is Starkey Ranch. The CDD fees for most lots in this neighborhood are between $2,000 and $3,000 per year. So that's the Community Development District tax. It just gets added on to your property taxes because this was a completely new development. This was bare land before this. So these roads, these curbs, these sidewalks, this internet connection, all these kind of things had to be developed. Even the wastewater systems, all these like little lakes and swamps in the middle of everything. And then finally, another fixed cost to keep in mind is HOA assessments or just CDD assessments as well. You know, what happens when these CDDs expire? Everybody thinks they expire because they have a 30-year term. What happens is it goes into an O&M assessment. Operations and management, there's still expenses related to maintaining these things, and it just goes into this little pad on your property taxes by being in a newer neighborhood. You know, we're about to see some of the CDDs expire in a couple areas in Tampa, like West Chase, like some of the new Tampa areas like Tampa Palms. I'm really curious how that will roll over into an O&M assessment. Okay, next I want to talk about choosing the right location for you. This is an interesting topic because it has so much to do with the lifestyle that you want. How much are you a homebody? How much do you want to get out and do stuff? How far is too far away for the stuff you want to go do? You know, maybe you really want to go to the beach now that you're moving to Florida. How far is too far for you? How far is too far from the airport, from all these kind of things? So that really is where we need to hop on a call and kind of process that with you. But also make sure you download the guide. All this stuff and so much more is in the guide that we put together for you. Next topic is selecting your builder. Now, reputation's a big part of this for a lot of you. And I'm sure you've been on Facebook groups and watched YouTube videos and been on Reddit forums. That's quite the black hole. Every builder has negative things about them. Every builder has positive things about them. And every builder solves a different problem. Maybe it's price, maybe it's speed. You never know what the problem is that they solve specifically until you start digging into how they work and how they process the whole thing. And the reality is the builder that's right for you is a combination of all kinds of things, like the lifestyle you want, how close you want to be to certain things, the customization level you want. It's all those kind of things combined. So build quality is definitely a factor that's important to a lot of you, and a lot of our clients ask these specific questions. I'm sure you've read, on both sides of it online already, and the reality is it goes on both sides of it. These production builders, they try to build them as uniform as they can, but it's still people that are building them. It's not a manufacturing line. They're not exactly the same every time. They're not exactly perfect every time. But that's one reason that there is this big 1-year warranty with a lot of these builders, where they come and touch up all kinds of little things. At that 1-year point, they can do a lot for you at that point. So I recommend finding a builder that you actually like the houses. And then next level will be finding an experience that you like, the overall experience, the customer service experience, and then digging into what does the warranty look like, what are the incentives like, those kind of things. Okay, next section of the guide that you can download in the video is understanding the differences between communities. So obviously we talked about, different homes, different builders, different amenities, but you also have like parks. Like there's a big park right here in this community. There's a K-8 school connected to the community, and all those kind of things are a product of planning. That's the biggest thing I want to point out when you're comparing communities. Some of them are just more planned as a whole community. Some of them are planned as a neighborhood, and it depends really what you want whenever you're deciding based on that. Okay, real quick, let me go through the home buying process when you're buying new construction. The first step of the process is your own research, based on your budget, based on the location you want to be, based on the amenities you want to have access to, based on the things you want to have access to that are part of the city, part of the new area you're moving to. That research part of the process is pretty big. We love to be involved in that. We love to kind of just help you process your situation. We love to kind of break down the map and help you see maybe some things you might miss. The next part of the process is the builder selection. So doing your research, identifying your timeline, the type of house you want, your budget, like all those kind of things are going to contribute to the builder that you choose. But then, does that builder you like have stuff available in an area that you like for your budget? All those kind of things are going to be factors. Once we've identified all that, you're choosing the house, maybe you're customizing a little bit, you're going under contract. Now, building the house, maybe it's already partway done, so it's fast, or maybe it's gonna take 13 months. One of our clients right now, that's what they estimated when we went under contract, was 13 months. It actually sped up. It's gonna be done in 9 months. So that's kind of the process. Research of your situation, research of the builder, go under contract, construction. And when it comes to navigating the contract, we're here to help you. So understanding the incentives, the add-ons, the upgrades, the lot premiums, how your rate might change based on when you go under contract to when you actually initiate the loan later, if it's a long build process. All those kind of things, we're here to help you kind of understand. We do this a lot. We look at these contracts a lot. Many people, if you're not working in the industry, you just don't look at these very often. So that's why we're here. We'd love to help you. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. And then also don't forget to download the new construction guide. We made this just for you. But we're far from finished here. I want to finish with the questions you should ask your realtor, your builder, your lender, your significant other when you're making this decision. Let's run through some of these questions. First, what kind of incentives are available, and do they actually help the problem we're trying to solve? So the problem could be, I want my monthly payment to be lower, or the problem could be, I want less cash out of my pocket to close. I want to put as little down as possible. I don't want to pay closing costs, those kind of things. So incentives can be used a few different ways. So identifying how you want those incentives to be used is super important. Next question is asking about the future of the neighborhood. Are you buying at the beginning or the end? Is the grocery store going to be at the front, or is you have to use the grocery store down the road? All those kind of things are factors when you're thinking about moving in, calling a new place home. Now, maybe you're not thinking about this yet, but thinking about resale is important. What are the schools like? What's the future of the whole area developing into? Especially when we're looking at these more, outskirts area that are, predominantly new construction. What is going to happen, and where's it going to be in 5-10 years? Okay, next questions are about your costs involved in buying. How much do you want to upgrade? Certain builders let you upgrade more than others. How much do you want to be involved in that process? How much do you want to customize this house before you actually move into it? Next thing to think about is your lot premiums, or these other kind of additional upfront costs like HOA buy-ins, lot premiums, upgrades, these kind of upfront big costs that increase the amount of your loan significantly sometimes. Next question to ask is, what kind of timelines are even available? Do they have inventory available for you to buy? Does it finish building in 2 months? Based on how much you want to customize, what fits in your timeline. And sometimes it's okay, there's 5 here that I can pick the finishing touches on, and that's perfect, and they'll be done in 60 days. We actually run into that scenario pretty often. Okay, next thing is HOA rules. People call us all the time saying they don't want to be in an HOA. They've had a bad experience, or they've heard something about Florida, or they just think there's HOAs everywhere, they just take your money and don't do much and blah, blah, blah. I get it. I don't live in an HOA, and I kind of like that. Understanding the rules, understanding the benefits of being part of an HOA, understanding the costs, and understanding kind of how it's going to affect you and your life and your situation is more like the questions I want you to ask at that point. Okay, lastly, the warranty. What kind of warranty does the builder offer on workmanship, on appliances, on things like that? Just so you know kind of what to keep out for, when that deadline is, when it's the 1 year mark. Okay, I got this list of things for them to come fix. A lot of our clients do it like that. The 1 year warranty is the big one. And then they come back and can do a lot of stuff for you. But if you miss that deadline, they're not gonna come back and do it. Okay, I hope you found this video super valuable. I know it's packed full of information, packed full, but the guide is packed with even more information. So don't forget to download your guide. But as always, we would love to be your real estate choice here in the Tampa area. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. And thanks for coming by.